that's a bass, huh? That's a slab crappie, man. It just doesn't get any better.
The smallmouth here in Champlain is phenomenal.
How you doing, guys? I hope you guys are doing great on this chilly Sunday evening. Welcome to another weekend roundup. I'm George, the Poker Outdoors guy. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. Got a good show lined up. Got a good friend from Washington State going to join us. We're going to talk to him in a few minutes about some fishing up that way. But before we do, we got a few folks to thank, as always. Finseeker River Guide Service. Tim Keebler is booking trips now for the fall season. Lots of great fishing to get into this year, so be sure you give Tim a call, 215-262-4811. Tony Maja products. Yeah, those big old bass be coming down the shore real soon, so be sure you stock up on all those number 4 spoons, big mojos. Get in now before while you have your chance. TonyMajaProducts.com. And also the Fisherman Magazine. The September issue is out now. We're working on the October. Be sure you check out thefisherman.com. Jim Hutchinson gives you all you need to know for the Jersey Shore, Delaware Bay, and I'll even give you some tips happening right here in the Poconos. So check them out, thefisherman.com. We got a great show lined up. Well, first of all, I hope you guys have been out doing some fishing. You know, all summer long, I've been, waiting to hear about this, the temperature drop and water temps starting to come down, and they finally are. So we got to get out and do a little fishing ourselves. I was out about a week ago doing some striper fishing. It didn't do so well, but I'm hopefully we can get out maybe tomorrow. As a matter of fact, Jim Hutchinson and I are doing some fishing with Tim Keebler out on the Delaware River, so I'll let you guys know how that trip is going to go. So before we get into too much here, I want to get my good friend in, Shawn Widdicombe from LiftedFishin, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the fishing in NorthWest and some of the stuff that he does. Let me get Shawn in here. How you doing there, Shawn?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Hey, how
Glad
you
to be
doing
on the
today?
show.
Oh, thank you very much. How are things out in the Northwest there? I mean, a little smoky. I mean, you guys getting out fishing or what?
Yeah, it's been really crazy. I mean, we had to wear N95 masks just to go out and catch some fish. So, I mean, the air quality was definitely unhealthy, but when you got some diehard anglers like us, we're going to go out there either way.
Yeah, I don't doubt you. I was looking through some of your stuff on your website and whatnot, and I was surprised. I just don't think of largemouth up in the Northwest as being one of your target fish, but you guys really hammer them up there.
Yeah, I mean, we go out and just enjoy ourselves and have a good time, and sometimes the largemouths are the only ones that want to bite, so we're not going to tell them not to.
No, but I was just surprised at the size. I mean, it's just, normally you think of big largemouth as more southern, but you're in Washington State. I mean, you're not going to get too much far north, and you're pulling 6+ pounders out. Yeah,
it's pretty crazy. I think it all has to kind of go back to the let them go, let them grow theory.
Yeah.
A lot of these fish, are being put back, which enables us to catch these bigger fish, years on, later. So we're pretty thankful that people have been practicing that, approach towards fishing in the last couple of years pretty heavily.
Yeah, without a doubt. Hey, we got a few folks joining us. I want to say hello to Samantha. Thank you very much for joining us. Jen Wong is on here. Thank you, Jen. John Augustine and Ant Glasgow Jr. all the way over from the UK. Glad to see you there, Ant. How you doing today? All righty. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just
oh no, you're fine.
Some of the folks there, and good to see them on board as well. So what else you guys fish for? I seen you got after some muskie as well out there.
Yeah, we actually the musky bite right now because of the fall transition. That musky bite is super fire. So they've been pretty aggressive, balling up the bait fish, chasing those little bluegills around. And I mean, it's nothing better when you toss out a chatterbait and all of a sudden that vibration just stops and you're like, oh man, right. I know I got a fish on there. Right. So it's a good time of the year to go out there and start using those spinner baits and chatterbaits and stuff like that will get that fish's attention.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, that's one of the things we're going to target tomorrow when we're out in the Delaware River. So hopefully we have some luck.
Good luck.
Well. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
How about let's talk about some of those techniques. I know we were talking a little bit before the show. You got some really cool techniques you go with. Going back to the bass, let's see if we can pass along some tips to the guys on some of the bass fishing.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny with all the new tackle that is out. You get kind of distracted, by all the bells and whistles and colors and shining, things that they put on there. And you'd be really surprised how just going right back to the old school approach of the old Texas rig, weightless Senko is just so darn effective. And honestly, the Texas rig Senko, and we actually throw the little stinky ball on the bottom, if you can kind of see it. And that gives it just a little bit of smell while you're dragging it through the weeds or tossing it under a dock. But just going the basic approach sometimes seems to be what the fish are looking for, because we get so distracted by all the high tech stuff that's out now with all the new vibrations and square bills and all the stuff that's available. We kind of forget that it's the basics that sometimes are the most effective.
Yeah, a lot of times, the baits are designed to catch the fishermen, not so much the fish. I think it's always good to go back to the grassroots stuff. But I wanted to tell you, look at that stinky ball again. Could you hold that up? Guys, we're going to have the folks from Stinky Balls on here in a couple weeks. What that is, that's a little ball of real bait that they have a proprietary process that they blend up. And yeah, there he goes. And it actually, they blend it up and then they form it into this little nugget. And that is real crawfish or night crawl or whatever the actual bait is. That is the real bait in this little nugget. So you can put that on your hook and give real scent to even your plastics. It's really, really cool stuff. I've been using it for about a year now, and I really love the stuff. Hopefully we can get Lee on here or one of his guys to do a little show about that. I'm really looking forward to that as well. So what else you guys been doing out there? Did you say besides the muskie, any smallmouth out there?
Yeah, we actually just went out on the river last night. We're kind of a sucker too for GoPros. So when the new GoPro 9 came out, it was not even a day later we were in Best Buy, picking one up. So we had to go try it out. We took it down to the river and we were catching some nice smallmouth out there. They, of course, love the Senkos just like any other smallmouth. They'll just hammer that thing. Sure. And there's nothing better than finesse fishing and feeling that line get tight, and you're like, you feel a couple little taps or a couple little wiggles, on there and setting that hook on them. It's just, it almost eliminates any, worry you got in the world once you set that hook.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but out here, we prefer the smallmouth, at least I do, to the largemouth anyway. I think that's a much better fight and just more of a challenge than just a largemouth. Yeah,
they definitely seem like they're not as lazy. The largemouth kind of seem like, they're a little more, they just, I'm caught. But those smallmouth, they definitely put up a fight. I mean, I think the biggest one, we pulled out was Newman Lake, Washington. He was a 5-pound smallmouth, 22 inches.
That's a
pretty good fish for around these parts.
That's a good fish.
I've never caught one like it. So, that's a hell of a fish.
That's really nice. Hey, got a Guy Swope joined us. Hey, thank you, Guy. He said he uses the Stinky Balls as well. They work really good. Yeah, like I said, nice. I hope to have the folks from Stinky Balls on here in a couple of weeks, and we'll talk more about them, and I hope you guys get a chance to use them as well. So awesome. Now, you do so much more than just, go out fun fishing for yourself. I think you help a lot of kids out, I was reading.
Yeah, we actually, it was a free fishing weekend here in Washington State. We actually held a kids event at one of the local ponds, Fish Lake, out of kind of by Cheney, Washington. But we actually had 60 people show up. We gave $1,000 worth of tackle and gear away to all the kids. There was 3 or 4 kids that won a tackle box, a fishing pole. It was an awesome turnout. And some of the people and parents that showed up, there was a grandparent or a couple grandparents and their grandkids, and their granddaughter won the fishing pole. And just the look on their face after they had accomplished winning something at that age, it made everything worth it.
Oh yeah, really good. It's Josh Lovis that just joined us. Great smallmouth in the Midwest as well. Stinky Balls work great out here. Hey, thanks, Josh. Appreciate you joining us.
Welcome, Josh. Glad to see you, man.
And absolutely, yeah, those Stinky Balls do work great. But you guys, I don't want to talk about Stinky Balls in this show. He'll have his own show. Let's talk about. I know you're developing some lures too.
Yeah, we're actually, I got an amazing pro staff member, which his lures go by the name of Dave Danglers. And he has been producing some amazing, like hands down amazing hand-painted lures that are by far some of my favorite ones in our tackle box. And here's a little look at one of them.
Oh, nice.
It's actually a popper that he had painted for us. And it's Wonder Bread. He's got his Dave's Danglers on the bottom and our LiftedFishin logo on the top. And right now, that lure is literally one of the only Wonder Bread poppers in that style in the nation. And nice. There's only 4 or 5 of them in the wild. So we kind of get to go out and pre-test them before everybody else gets them, which is kind of fun.
That's a cool color, that Wonder Bread. Have a few lures that I throw that are that color as well.
It works really good in the morning and the evenings, on that, especially with that top water popper. When that
Right.
water is glass, they see that pinks and the whites flashing around up there. They just can't even, resist it. And I actually got a funny story. That popper is one of the only poppers and only lures in my life I've ever caught two fish at the same time with. And you see it happen all the time where
Right.
people pull in two fish, but I've never experienced it until I fished that popper. So
Right. That's really cool. Now, where do you fish that ship? Real shallow water? You fishing kind of like a drop off, or where do you normally run them?
yeah, you'll want to do, if you're fishing, there's certain parts of the river where we can't fish them due to restrictions on the red band trout. It's single barbless hooks on the Spokane River. So unfortunately, we can't fish them there. But if you have a spot on the river that you can fish it, I would recommend, if you can see where the rocky, it's kind of shallow and it gets right into that deep drop where the rocks disappear and it turns to the blue, deep water.
Yep.
I would pop that popper right off that line or that edge line, because that's where those fish kind of hang out, waiting for anything to make the mistake. And I guess you can make, you can make the reference to, what is it, Finding Nemo, where they're like, don't go past the reef,
Yep.
They go past it, man. There's fish out there that are waiting just to gobble them up. So
yeah. And they come after them things vertical, man. They just come out of the water.
It is probably by far my favorite way to fish bass. Any kind of predator fish is the top water action. It is just, nothing gets your heart racing more. Even when you're not even fishing top water, when you hear a fish hit the surface, you're looking around, where'd that fish hit the surface at? Yeah, so it gets your blood pumping.
You should fish with my buddy Josh. I mean, he'll hear a splash and almost like he needs that medical attention, just whipping around to see where that thing came from. But he's a hell of a fisherman. I mean, he's probably one of the best I know. But
give himself whiplash.
Yep. That's good stuff, though.
Nice.
Now you're talking. I want to back up.
Awesome.
Yeah, you were talking about musky and stuff.
Yeah, we actually have.
Go ahead. No, finish up what you were saying. I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, we actually we have a kind of a cool thing going on with that popper at the moment. On our Facebook page, facebook.com/LiftedFishin, we're doing a $5. You send us $5 on our PayPal, and we put you into a drawing where you can actually win that popper I just showed you guys on the screen for $5. You have a chance to win it. All the proceeds are actually going to help a kid with tackle, to buy a tackle set for an underprivileged kid. And for our next event, we're actually going to, use that to buy the tackle and whatnot that we're giving away. So it's going to a really good cause. And these poppers in the future will be probably, retailing around $20 for one, just because they're hand painted. A lot of time and effort put into them, but just the simple fact that $5 is going to go to help a kid in the future, is well worth it.
No, that's amazing. I mean, just you got to help that next generation, and it's so good to hear that you guys are doing things.
And it's hard, with all the distractions nowadays. You got computers, tablets, phones, all these distractions. It's really cool to see. I don't know if you've messed around with the Garmin Live Scope at all.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Josh just bought one, so we're getting ready to hook that thing up and get out and do some crappie fishing. You guys are going to
love it. And if you do ice fish, it is going to change the game for you guys. I mean, it gives me goosebumps thinking about how much fun that thing is, ice fishing. But with stuff like that nowadays, it's really it's a lot more easy to get kids involved, because it feels more like a video game or something that they can relate to, versus going out there and sitting on the ice and just waiting for a bite. So it kind of, is a little bit more influential having that technology to kind of back us up nowadays and get those kids out there fishing again.
Yeah, just like Josh was saying, it saves so much time. You can get out there, drill like an exploratory hole, and then scan anywhere to see where the fish are kind of hanging out. And I know we're really excited to get out on the ice this winter and try that as well. So we'll let you guys know how that goes, because I know Josh is
I'm excited to hear about that.
Seems to get this thing on the water and see how it goes, but it won't be too much longer.
And if you, my biggest tip on that thing is definitely look up a few YouTube videos on the contrast and the color gain and that kind of stuff. Because when we first got it, we didn't know too much about that. And after we had learned about it, it really changed the amount of detail and stuff that we could see just based off of our jig in the water, you know, the
Right.
fish coming up to it, all that changed once we were able to fine tune those settings. So
Yeah,
it definitely helps, you know, researching a little bit of what to put it at.
that's good advice. Thank you. We're definitely going to do that. And we got a whole series of videos we're going to do using the live scope, everything from trolling, crappies in the fall, ice fishing. So we'll put together that stuff and we'll share that with you guys. Jen Wong says,
Awesome. Yeah, would
absolutely
love to
love
see
the
it.
top water, the best. Yeah,
Oh,
who doesn't
definitely.
like top water? I mean, come on. Now, I wanted to go back a few things. We were talking about muskie, and you were saying spinner baits. Is that your preferred bait for doing the muskies?
To be honest, my biggest muskie that I've caught, and I caught it fishing for bass with a Senko.
Okay.
So it's really ironic, you know, they call them a fish of 1,000 casts, but if you make the right cast in anything you do in life, you know, sometimes you're rewarded for it. So when
I'm
you're
going to
fishing
remember
for
that
bass,
tomorrow.
you know,
I'm going to. Sean told me.
but you know, these fish, they're very aggressive. So I found a lot of the time, you know, fishing that shallow water and you get that opportunity to sight fish one of these fish, you know, you really want to suck up all that is happening, because
Right.
you'll see, you put a Senko in front of their face, you jig it, they come up to smell it, but as soon as you kill it, like, oh, he's going to bite it, that's when they back off because it's
Right.
not natural. So a lot of the time you see these guys doing the figure eights around the boats and they catch them on the side of the boat, which blows my mind.
That's crazy. Yeah, I already let the guys know they're going with us. Be careful when they come up. Don't just say, oh, you followed it up. You got to get in there and do that, you know? So that's really
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, you got to keep them active, because sometimes, and it's kind of this goes with that double fish catch I got the other day. I was standing right there watching him, you know, talking to my brother, saying, "Hey, man, there's another fish following it," and he's trying to burn his
Oh,
Senko in, you know, and all that stuff, and get cast in there to catch it. And at that point, you know, that fish had already bit the other hook, and it's just kind of you know, baffles you sometimes what actually happens out there. And the fish was oblivious to us even standing there. And it's
really?
kind of how those muskie get, is when they're fueled, man, they don't even see what's going on sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. John Augustine says Josh is always the first ice skimmer out there. You ain't kidding. I've been out with Josh where he's going, well, it's 3 inches. I'm like, Josh, I ain't going out there, man. I think I weigh a little bit more than Josh, and I'm not going to trust it. Let's see. Guy Swope says we have caught some with swim baits and whopper. Yeah, the whopper plopper. That's an awesome bait. Not just even for bass, but muskie too. That's a really beast of a bait there. Thank you very much.
And that's kind of
Art,
cool. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, just saying hi to Art Begley. He joined us. He says, evening, George, fishing in the salt this week. Hey, bring something back for us, Art. Good to hear.
But it was actually kind of funny. We're talking about the whopper plopper, because I don't know if you've been keeping up with some of the new innovative ideas that have come out this year, but a buddy of mine actually kind of put this together. But this is actually a weedless whopper plopper. You got the whopper
Nice.
plopper on the front with your swim jig in the back, and it actually gives them that jealousy effect. So when this is actually swimming through the water, it looks like another fish is chasing it. So you get those bigger fish that'll come up and get that jealousy effect and actually hit the fish behind what it's chasing.
Oh, that
So
looks
you get
awesome.
that reaction. And yeah, they've been coming out this year. And you fish them a lot around like the submerged weeds. You got, you know, the really thin pine or the weed stalks and stuff like that you'll see sparsed out. You can cast that thing right over the top of them and just plop it right across those weeds, man, and you get some of the best blow ups. It is just insane.
That sounds like a Kodak moment right there.
Oh man, yeah. If you could get out there and, you know, have someone filming you the whole time, you would get some amazing shots with that weedless whopper plopper.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, I was just looking at it as you were holding that up, and we just got a bunch of new gulp that Berkeley sent us to do some field test work on. It's not even on the market yet. And I
Nice.
see some baits that are going to go in the back of that. I think that would be just absolutely killer. Big gulp paddle tails. And some
you
really
could
neat
put a
colors.
lot on there. And it's I haven't experimented too much with the steel lead behind on the swivel, but I'm sure you could kind of experiment with it and, you know, fine tune it to get it to where your fish are just hammering it, you know, because it does take sometimes a little bit of fine tuning.
Sure. Well, muskie are finicky to begin with. So, I mean, you just got to, you're dealing with a fish like that. It's what it is, you know?
Yep.
Ryan Sturgis says that looks awesome. He said that bait looked awesome. And John
Oh,
Augustine
nice.
says he wants a dozen for himself. So you might be able to put them up for sale on your website there, Sean.
Yeah,
No,
we might actually. I have a couple guys that make them for me. So,
that might be something to think about. And guys, if we'll put a
oh
link
yeah,
up
for
there if
sure.
you want to get a hold of Shawn out there at Lifted Fishing. And but let's talk about Lifted Fishing. What is it that Lifted Fishing itself does? How about we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, we actually started out as just kind of like your average outdoor enthusiast group, but people kind of started wanting more from us. So I actually decided to quit my job, full-time job, and now I'm going full-time lifted fishing. We've got the shirts, the hats, the hoodies, pretty much all the fishing apparel you need. These moisture wicking shirts right here, and we just kind of started rolling with it, and since then we've just kind of taken off. So here we are today on your show.
That's really cool. It's something I think everybody has a kind of a dream of: quit their day job and just do something fishing for a living. But it's not that easy, is it? It's a lot of work, right?
Yeah, it's
I'll
a
take
lot
that
of
as a
work,
yes.
but it's very rewarding in the long run. Oh yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding in the long run. Once you actually accomplish the goals that you're set out to try to, gain. Once you accomplish those, it's really rewarding, and it's a really good feeling to know that, you started from nothing and created something that everybody can love and share and be a part of. And it's
Yeah, I think
changed a
that's
lot of
awesome.
people's lives, including myself.
Well, I think too, all the kids that you're helping. I mean, there's the kids that are going to grow up in the next 10 years. They're going to remember the stuff you're doing for them, and they'll
Oh
be
yeah.
fishing these tournaments and stuff as well.
And it's funny, we actually have a pro staff. His name's Scott, and he tells me, he's like, "Man, when you guys produce your TikTok videos, my daughter's already seen them before I have." So
That's
it's
good.
amazing, how quick kids pick up on those, tech, like TikTok and YouTube, stuff
Sure.
like that. It's
Sure.
very influential when it comes to, the younger generation.
Oh, it is. And I think that just getting them engaged now, it's keeping them out of things they shouldn't be in, getting them
Oh
into
yeah.
something wholesome like fishing, and they'll be in it for life once they get started.
Yep. And it's kind of like, once you get them out there and they set that hook that first time. I remember the first time I set, the hook, I could barely walk, but it was a catfish, and it was just on a worm, but just the thrill of reeling that thing in, and the battle and the connection that you have with that fish when you're actually fighting it to get it back to the boat is just
Oh,
nothing else like it.
without a doubt. Without a doubt. Hey, if you guys have any questions for Shawn, put them up there now. We'll try to answer them. But yeah, he's out in the Washington State up there in the Northwest. So kind of doing the same kind of fishing we do, and just enjoying life up there. So any questions, just post them up and we'll try to get them answered for you. I do want you got to talk to your guy that makes those Whopper ploppers. I think we're going to have to get a
Oh,
couple of them
definitely.
off you. I
Yeah,
say
we'll
a
get
couple
those.
guys here. I'm looking at the comments here, and you might have an audience already for them.
Yeah, they're pretty killer, man. So, and they're kind of like a new innovative lure that's come out I'd say in the last 6 months. I've seen it kind of circulating on Facebook, and I was lucky enough to have one of our followers send me one in the mail. So he was like, check this out. Tell me what you think about it. And I mean, the thing is just unreal. I can't even describe how much fun it is fishing that thing out there.
Yeah, I'm kind of wishing I had a couple of them for tomorrow, but we'll make do with the stuff we got anyway.
Right.
That's really good. Come on, any questions for Shawn? We'll hit them before we move on in the show. But yeah, what a great guy on the show. Great little. I mean, you got a great little business. I mean, look at this. If you're fishing stuff full time, I just love to hear those kind of stories. It's a success story, and it's something I think all of us wish we could jump into ourselves.
And thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, it's an honor to be on a show like this and, be given the opportunity to share our story and, and let people know and let the younger generation know that hard work does still pay off.
Right. Well, I think what we're going to have to do is maybe once the ice, we get some ice here and you get some ice, maybe we'll talk again and we can see how the ice fishing season's going up in
Oh,
Northwest
definitely.
and kind of do a revisit on that. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I'm totally game. I definitely know we'll have some stories to share with you by then.
Oh, without a doubt. Sounds great. Well, guys, if you got no other questions for Shawn, we're going to let him go and we're going to go on with the rest of our show here. Okay, Shawn, Thank you very much for
Awesome.
joining us, buddy.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
We'll talk to you soon, okay? All right, buddy. All right, Shawn, isn't that great? I just love hearing that stuff. It's just always good. But you know what? That brings us to the next part of the show that we always like, and that's going to be our trophy board. Yeah, let's see what you guys have been out catching. So this week we have young Jack Lane out doing some trout fishing in Carbon County. Wouldn't quite say where. I think he's protecting his honey hole, but that's okay. Now, talking about the Northwest, we have Jared Higginbotham back again from Yakima Baits. He's out there catching a mess of salmon out there in the Columbia River. Now, while we're talking about him, we have his daughter, Alexius Higginbotham, managed to get herself a really nice sturgeon. Boy, that's something I've caught one years and years ago by accident. What a beast that one is. Really good to see. Leonid Sherievsky, this is down in Carbon County as well. Got himself a couple of really nice stripers. Glad to see you showing them off, Leonid. Great stuff. Also, we have a FLW co-angler, Glenn Key, out on Wallam-Pompack, getting into the smallmouth. There's a couple beautiful ones there today. I think he was in third place as of yesterday. I'll have to give him a shout and see how he's doing today. Hopefully he placed up in the rankings there for that tournament. Also, Rich Bates out getting some beautiful Delaware River brown trout. Look at that one. Really nice fish there, Rich. And next, Dan Rouse said he was out trolling off of Brigantine, New Jersey. He got himself a couple nice stripers as well. Hopefully those big ones are starting to come down and we can get out and get on them as well. Also, our own Josh Taylor. Yeah, Josh and I were out this past week and trying to get some of these fluke on those new gulps. Josh managed to get a couple real nice ones. Matter of fact, he was out early in the week and got, I think, a nice keeper. But yeah, we were playing with those new gulps and they are just killer for some of these flukes. So really good to see. I hope you guys get out and had a chance to get some of these as well. So that's going to bring up our trivia giveaway. And our question this week is, according to Wikipedia, a walleye can travel how many miles in one evening? Is it 8 miles, 27 miles, or 50 miles? What is it? Can travel in one evening? And the winner this week is going to get a Lifted Fishing t-shirt right from Shawn out of the Northwest. 8 miles, 27 miles, or 50 miles. What is the answer, guys? Ryan says 27. I'm sorry, Ryan. Guy said 27. No. Jen says 27. Sorry, guys, that's not right. Give me one more answer. Come on. I'm going to give it 10 more seconds, and then we'll carry the prize over to next week. 8 miles? No. You guys are trying. I'll give you credit for that. One more answer, guys. Come on, pick it. There's only one answer left. Who's going to be the winner? Ryan Swoop says 50 miles. Yeah, do you believe that? I wasn't sure about that, but if you look it up in Wikipedia, a walleye can swim 50 miles in one evening. I couldn't believe it. I hope it's true because that's what they're saying. So, Guy, I'm saying Ryan, you got the right answer first. We'll get out a t-shirt for you from Lifted Fishing. Thank you so much for playing and congratulations. Thank you everybody else for jumping in. I mean, I know everybody gets the right answer now, but Ryan sent the answer in first. Yeah, 50 miles. I can't believe it. So we'll have to double check that one, but according to Wikipedia, that's what it is. So that's kind of going to wrap up the show for tonight, guys. I hope you had a good time. I hope you guys are out getting fit, doing some fishing yourself. Weather's perfect. And don't forget to send us those pictures. Got to thank again Tim Keebler, 215-262-4811. Book that trip now. Why? Before he gets all booked up for himself. Lots of great fishing to do in the river yet. Tony Maja Products, thefisherman.com. And don't forget, always email me comments, pictures, anything at PoconoGeorge@outlook.com. And please check out our new website, PoconoOutdoorsGuy.com. There's lots of things on there. We got a discussion board. I give you fishing reports, just lots of fun. Please log on and say hello. And that's going to kind of wrap up our show for today. I hope to see you guys next week. Next week, we have Mike Smedley on. So you guys want to tune in for that one. We're going to be talking about late season striper fishing. Don't want to miss that, okay? We'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great weekend and enjoy the rest of the week. Bye.